Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mad Meta Magic, where we try to make the magic meta mad. Now, I recently on stream was requested several decks. I was requested to play Esper Control, which is a deck that I have never been good with, and I was requested to play Dragonstorm again. Now, I had a plan to play Dragonstorm, and I do have a plan to play Esper Control, though for Esper Control, that's more of a tryharding deck. So I'm going to play it in the tryharding slot. Even though this is the opposite of the order they were requested, it fits into the recording schedule better, and that's my excuse. Now, today, we've made some slight changes to the Dragonstorm list. Change number 1, we dropped a Peer Through the Depths in favor of the 4th Dragonstorm. In my mind, 3 Dragonstorms felt correct with all the extra dig, but basically every single person who watched the video and commented was like, dude, play the 4th Dragonstorm. You need to play the 4th Dragonstorm. Y'all are probably right. And then the second change that I've made in the main deck is to drop several lands for rainbow lands. So we have 3 gemstone mines because they don't cost us life. And them only being able to be used a few times probably means that they may not be the land for us, because we don't really care about losing life to Mana Confluence, but running out of mana could potentially be a thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to swap up right now, live on camera, to 3 Mana Confluence and 2 Gemstone Mine, just out of paranoia, and we'll see if Mana Confluence is better or worse for us. This is effectively a Chivalry for us, that allows us to cast Dramoka, Kolagon, Atarka on the weird off chance that we have to. There has been no less than 3 instances where we needed to cast a dragon from our hand and we couldn't, so I've tried to adjust for that. Second, I've swapped up how our lands are for the remainder of the deck. We're going to be playing some Scalding Tarns. I've added an extra island because I want to make sure that if we get Blood Mooned, I can try and get an island if the situation arises. And then last change is out of the sideboard, I dropped a Repeal and the Tormod's Crypts. I added the 4th Lightning Bolt and 2 Engineered Explosives. And we're going to see if this works any better for us. And I'm going to go ahead and take this into a Modern League. So I'll see you guys in round 1. Alrighty, round 1, here we go. We've got mana, we've got cantrips, no cost reducer, and we probably have better 6s, but as a combo deck, my better judgment is telling me not to mulligan this hand. Alright, we're against Burn, so it's a race. I'm going to start Steam Vents, even though it does cost me life. I'll probably end up playing Mana Confluence last. Serum Visions to the top, Dragonlord Dramoka to the bottom. Pass the turn. So Rift Bolt coming off Suspend. We take 3, go to 15. Opponent plays another mountain into an Eidolon of the Great Revel, which is generally a pretty good anti-storm card. So cast Serum Visions here, take some damage. Scalding Tarn, Sea Beyond, both of those to the bottom. Play Gemstone Mine, pass the turn. If we can draw a Dragonstorm and get kind of a short charge, like if we Manamorphose getting a Ritual, it's not impossible for us to win before we're out of life, though it's probably pretty unlikely that we win here, especially with so many extra burn spells and damage. Now I think our life total is too low, because we can't even cast a single spell. Alright. Just for reference, Sleight of Hand, so we would have probably peered. And we would have actually hit the Dragonstorm and won, had I tried to go off there. So versus Burn, I think it's important to bring in the Lightning Bolts. I don't know if we need the Abrade. I don't know if we're on the Niv Mizzet plan. Niv Mizzet. I'm going to drop 2 Sleight of Hand, 1 Sea Beyond, and an Ironcrag Feat to bring in 4 bolts, just to help delay a little bit of damage. And we'll run it back. I would like to play first. Well, we have a Lightning Bolt and 2 Rituals, but no blue mana. I think I've got a mulligan that. This looks like it's got a little bit of promise. I am going to keep, and I'm going to put back a Gemstone Mine. Hopefully the bolts can buy us enough time to draw what we need to draw. Start Scalding Tarn, pass the turn. I'm probably okay fetching just a basic mountain here. So there's a Swift Spear. Fetch a mountain. Bolt Swift Spear. Pass the turn, we untap. Draw another Desperate Ritual. Play an island and pass. Opponent plays a Goblin Guide and a Wayward Guide Beast. They go to combat and attack. Pyretic Ritual on top of our deck. I'm going to kill the Guide Beast because it can help them recycle lands to use again. We draw a Pyretic Ritual. I am going to Manamorphose just to try and get through my deck because I don't think mana is going to be an issue. I'm going to save this Bolt for an Eidolon. I want a Bolt right now, but potentially Goblin Guide can help us draw cards, and that might be worth the life loss. If my opponent plays an Eidolon, we're going to, at this point, need to be able to kill it. Bolt Skewer... So we take 2 extra damage here for basically no additional benefit. Take Shivan Reef, play Shivan Reef, pass the turn. Opponent goes to combat, attacks us for 2. Dragonlord Kolagon on top of our deck. Bolt Goblin Guide, because now we're going to have to prevent damage basically by any means necessary. Okay, they did not follow up with Eidolon, so thank goodness. Pass the turn. If that Shivan Reef was a Mana Confluence, we could cast Kolagon. We get Skull Cracked. There's Eidolon. And we do not draw what we need. So, unfortunately, we lose round 1. But if we were playing regular Gift Storm, we probably would have run into similar issues. The lines for regular Gift Storm versus Burn are probably a little bit more clear to the average Storm player. But any deck running Eidolon is a anti-Storm deck. They also drew it at an awkward time. And I could have saved the Lightning Bolt at that point, but at that point, if my opponent had Eidolon, we were just dead anyway. So, see you guys in round 2. Alrighty. Round 2, here we go. I am going to keep this hand, just because we have a really good chance at hitting a second land here. We are against what appears to be Jund. Okay, we get a Serum Visions, which is good. Start by playing Serum Visions. We draw Pyretic Ritual. See Beyond, Pyretic Ritual to the bottom. Pass the turn. Honestly, if we just draw, like, second land, cantrip into... we need to get to 3 lands and then Dragonstorm. Okay. Now, Serum Visions technically has a higher chance of hitting us a land, but I want a land I can play this turn if possible, so I'm going to Sleight of Hand for it here. Okay, we get a Shivan Reef. Play Shivan Reef. Serum Visions. If we can hit a 3rd land, we probably win the game if Baral sticks. Opponent fetches Verdant Catacombs for a basic forest. Goblin Electromancer, so Electromancer to the bottom, Steam Vents to the top. Pass. If my opponent Blood Moons or something, that would be a problem. We get Inquisitioned. They can't really take anything that stops us here, but if they have removal, potentially that is a huge issue. So they can take a cost reducer. Arguably what they should take here is a Desperate Ritual. If they don't have removal, I think they have to take Desperate Ritual or they just lose. They take Baral. So they probably have a Lightning Bolt. I think we still go for it. Play Electromancer. I could try and play it safe and cast See Beyond first. You know what? I'm going to do that. I think the odds that my opponent has Lightning Bolt is just too large. Okay, put a Peer Through the Depths back, pass the turn. If we untap with Electromancer, we're all but guaranteed the victory. If they have a Thoughtseize, that's an issue. I just really feel like if I had cast Ritual there, and my opponent had a removal spell, we would have been a huge problem. Alright, so the Kolagon's command. We're going to discard Sleight of Hand. So we're at 4, 5, 8 mana. We're a mana away from Dragonstorm. Alright, we're 2 mana away from Dragonstorm. They should take Desperate Ritual here. It is technically better. We untap. Draw Manamorphose. Manamorphose into red-blue. Play an island. 4, 5, 8 mana. We're now a mana away from Dragonstorm. Opponent untaps. Opponent plays an Overgrown Tomb tapped. Into a Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf into Kroxa is terrible for us. So we have to discard Pyretic here, I think. That's annoying, because now we are 2 mana away from Dragonstorm again. We untap and draw Tarn, so play Tarn, pass the turn. Opponent in all likelihood can buy back Kroxa, though they may just animate Raging Ravine and try and beat us down. Okay, Seasoned Pyromancer. They're going to dump their hand and draw 2 cards. They discard Blackcleave Cliffs and Huntmaster. Into a Tarmogoyf. Alright. We have basically this turn to draw a ritual. Or I guess a land might actually do it. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any land that is untapped or a ritual gets us to Dragonstorm. Alright. Fetch up a mountain. Pretty sure this works. Pyretic Ritual to 6 mana. Ironcrag Feat to 9. Dragonstorm for victory. So we get Dramoka, Atarka, Kolagon. Killing our opponent with a storm count of 3. That's pretty sweet. I didn't fetch my land there because it technically increases the chance that I drew a land, and a land is all I needed to win, because I think Atarka Kolagon alone was enough to win. Okay, so versus Jund, I don't really know that we change anything. Let me check and see if Jund is playing, like, Damping Sphere out of the side real quick. They're playing Boil and, like, Cling to Dust and Ghost Quarter, but none of those things really matter to us. I think I'm just going to run it back as is. We have a million cost reducers, but you know what? I'm going to keep it. I think this hand is actually somewhat decent versus hand hate, which is something my opponent may have kept their hand based on, I guess. So they start Inquisition. Basically, all of our cards are the same. They'll take Dig if they have more like removal than hand hate. They'll take... actually, they should just take like Sleight of Hand. Pretty much regardless, I think. They take Baral. I think out of all the cost reducers, I would have taken Electromancer there, because Electromancer, like... If they take Electromancer, we have Baral, and if we draw another Baral, Baral is worse than Electromancer, but... Fire off a Sleight of Hand. I'm going to take Shivan Reef because I'm going to need lands for the next little bit. That is one thing that is nice about this list, is you don't have to rely on a bunch of rituals to win. Like, odds are you're going to need them, but if your opponent's not pressuring you, you can just keep playing lands and then it's not a problem. Like, even the cost reducers are not vital to win, as the last game showed. So, they take an Electromancer. We draw a Gemstone Mine. Play Shivan Reef. I'm going to opt to take one more damage here than I need to, but that's only because I think Gemstone Mine we might need the mana for later. Okay, opponent fetches Verdant Catacombs. It's probably like a Fatal Push. Okay. So they can play Kroxa if they've got it. If they play Wooded Foothills, they fetch Wooded Foothills for a forest. Into a Liliana, making us sack. Alright. We untap, draw Dramoka. So... Play Gemstone Mine. Blue colorless, see Beyond. Put back Dramoka. Pass the turn. Opponent upticks. We'll discard Baral. Opponent discards Lily. They play Goyf. Into a Bloodstained Mire. Crack Bloodstained Mire. In for a Blood Crypt. They're going to Collective Brutality and Duress away our Sea Beyond. Now, discard is a little bit different than an active Liliana. Play Mana Confluence. Play Goblin. Pass the turn. Active Liliana is bad because we can't accumulate more than one card in hand, which is generally something we're going to need to do to be able to win. Opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire. They may just uptick Lily, not attack here to protect Lily. Bringing in Lightning Bolt might be a consideration for Liliana alone. They cash in Liliana to kill Electromancer. I disagree with that. So they've got us on a theoretical 4-turn clock here. They're completely out of resources. I would have upticked Lily there, because we can't win with just one card in hand. Play Scalding Tarn, pass the turn. Opponent draws. Goes to combat. Hits us for 4. We go down to 7. I mean, we're dead to a Lightning Bolt. Fetch up Steam Vents tapped. We untap. Draw an island. Play an island. We're also dead to Kolagon's command. Opponent fetches with Bloodstained Mire. Gets probably an Overgrown Tomb. We're also dead to Kroxa. They get a Stomping Ground. Untap. They play a Raging Ravine tapped. They hit us for 4, take us to 2. We untap. We draw Manamorphose. So, Manamorphose, red-blue. Into red-blue. Sea Beyond. Putting back Mana Confluence. Serum Visions. And that's game. Yeah, but like we would have had no hope if my opponent just kept upticking Lily. So, maybe I play Niv Mizzet here. Like getting to enough, playing him is our opponent has to like edict him to kill him. You know what? I think I'm gonna play another one over a random sleight of hand. Try it like this. I'll play first. Alright, well, this is a good combo hand. If my opponent keeps a hand that is, like, all threats and card advantage rather than removal and hand hate, we'll probably be fine. There's no incentive for them to do that, other than maybe they don't want to mulligan, but opponent did mulligan to 6. So we start Island, Serum Visions, Desperate Ritual, Island to the bottom, Peer Through Depths on top, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a Bloodstained Mire, cracks Bloodstained Mire for a swamp, Inquisition. If they don't have removal, they take Electromancer. If they do have removal, they take a Ritual. They take Desperate Ritual specifically. I disagree with taking Pyretic Ritual. Desperate Ritual is almost universally better. Play a Mountain, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Stomping Ground. Looks like they're leaving up an Abrupt Decay or a Lightning Bolt. Go ahead and peer. I'll take a Manamorphose. Rest to the bottom. Untap. Draw Fiery Islet. Play Mana Confluence. Pass the turn. If they had additional hand hate, they probably would have played it. If they have Liliana, we're also kind of fine. We untap. Draw Pyretic Ritual. So, I play Electromancer. I have 2 mana left over. They bolt my Electromancer in, or like we Manamorphose, they bolt in response. It leaves us 3 mana, which we can actually turn into 5, 7. We're still short. We'd have to draw something good off of Manamorphose. I think I'm just going to play Fiery Islet and pass. Okay. Opponent cracks Bloodstained Mire. Gets a Blood Crypt untapped. They're probably going to force discard and deal damage to us. So turn off auto... Oh, shoot. I needed to draw with Fiery Islet prior to this. Going to discard Pyretic. Yeah, I should have sacked Fiery Islet to draw before discarding, I think. Opponent plays an Overgrown Tomb untapped. Bloodbraid, maybe? Lily. Okay. And they're going to leave up Bolt. I'm going to cycle Fiery Islet, though I may regret this. Ironcrag Feet, I do not regret it. I need 1 mana, which I think means I have to just discard Manamorphose. We untap, draw Shivan Reef. Does that do it? So we play Shivan Reef, for sure. We'll play Goblin Electromancer. We Desperate Ritual to 4 mana, we Ironcrag Feet. It only works if Goblin survives, but I've got a feeling he's not going to. Desperate Ritual. Okay, opponent bolts. Now I can Ironcrag Feet, but that leaves us pretty woefully short of where we need to be. I should have just passed and seen if we could have untapped with him, and then discarded Desperate Ritual. My opponent upticked Liliana. I'm going to discard Ironcrag Feet. Opponent discards Blackcleave Cliffs. It's possible I should have discarded Dragonstorm because we have more Dragonstorms in the deck than we do Ironcrag Feats, but play Electromancer. Pass the turn. Opponent may Edict here rather than uptick. They have Fatal Push, so they get the best of both worlds. We untap. Draw Sea Beyond. Cast Sea Beyond. Put back a Dragonstorm. Play Steam Vents tapped. Opponent could ult just to take us off of half of our lands. There's no incentive for them to do that, other than to, like... They should just tick up to 7 before they do, because then they get to keep both. It's not like we have any cards in hand, though. This is one situation where it's like you almost wish that you had Past in Flames in this deck as a singleton, because then you could at least top deck it and then start casting a whole bunch of stuff out of Grave. If we get up to 6 mana... Like, we have the option of potentially top-decking Koligon and, like, hitting Liliana for a huge amount. Play Baral. Pass the turn. Okay, they just go Edict mode. They're going to hit us for 5 this turn. If we draw land and draw, like, Niv Mizzet, maybe it's good. And we draw Tarka, but can't cast her. Opponent plays Nurturing Peatland. Makes us discard. They can cash in Peatland, and then they can hit us with Raging Ravine. Maybe those engineered explosives should actually be pithing needles for situations like this, because, like, we can't beat a resolved Lily. We draw Serum Visions. I don't think there's anything we can draw that'll actually get us out of this, though. Yeah. Alright. Well, we're learning. I don't think the extra damage on the lands made a difference either, so I think staying with all of these, like, rainbow pain lands is the way to go. Alright, I will see you all in round 3. Alrighty. Round 3, here we go. I would like to play first. Yeah, we're most of the way there. Start by playing an island, passing the turn. Opponent starts at Verdant. We draw Ironcrag Feet, play an island, pass the turn. If we make it to 4 mana, if we just make it to turn 4 without our hand getting interrupted, or our mana getting interrupted, we win. It's a Croxa. Collective Brutality. Alright, that's an issue. We're playing Jund again. Interesting we're playing a lot of Jund in the losing bracket, but, I mean, who am I to judge? I've never liked Jund as a deck. I was always really frustrated with it way back in the day. Opponent takes Dragonstorm, because they should. It's the payoff. Play Fiery Islet. We may end up just cycling Fiery Islet, depending on what happens. But we don't have to make that decision right now. Right now, I think we play out lands to 4 lands, and we'll cycle Fiery Islet if, like, there's extenuating circumstances dictating we should, or if we start to get to, like, 5 lands and above. Opponent plays a Blooming Marsh. Lily. Alright. Opponent upticks. We're going to discard Gemstone Mine. Opponent discards Raging Ravine. We untap. Draw Steam Vents. Play Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. If we top deck Dragonstorm, we win. If they only uptick Lily to disrupt us. If they have more disruption than that, then obviously we need more. Okay. So discard Mana Confluence. Opponent discards Lily. Alright. We get Inquisitioned. So opponent takes Pyretic Ritual. Then they play Tarmogoyf. I'm going to cycle Fiery Islet. Get a Sleight of Hand. Tarmogoyf resolves. They play a tap land. We untap. Draw Mana Confluence. Sleight of Hand. Take Desperate Ritual. Play Mana Confluence. Pass the turn. We'll discard Pyretic Ritual to Liliana uptick. The problem is right now we need 2 cards to win. I think we need a cost reducer and we need Dragonstorm. So opponent discards Croxa, and I think that's gonna clinch it for him. So if Jund becomes a more regular portion of the metagame, I actually think I'll probably start running Leyline of Sanctity out of the board. With Rainbow lands, it's not quite as terrible, you know, if you don't mulligan to it, but I'm going to bring in some number of bolts and both Niv Mizzets, I think. We're going to go down a Dragonstorm. We're going to go down an Ironcrag Feet, Pier, and Sleight of Hand, and I'm actually only going to bring in 2 bolts. And we're going to try it like this. I would like to play first. This hand seems like it will work if we get a second land and we have Serum Visions to help find it. Play Fiery Islet, play Serum Visions. Draw Baral, Serum Visions to the bottom, Island to the top. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Blood Crypt into a Thoughtseize. They take Baral, we untap, draw an island, play Baral. I don't know why Baral is higher priority when you have duplicates. I guess they're worried about, like, the value it gets off of counter spells or something. But, like, opponent bolts Baral, Inquisitions. They're probably going to take Electromancer. They do. We untap. Draw Steam Vents. I am going to Manamorphose here. Play Electromancer. Play Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. I mean, this way, if my opponent plays Liliana down tick, we just bolt Liliana. Okay, opponent shocks Stomping Ground. Into Liliana. Liliana down tick. We untap. Draw Sea Beyond. So start Sea Beyond. We're kind of going to go on the try and stall until maybe we can cast a Niv Mizzet. So get a Desperate Ritual. Ping Lily. Play Fiery Islet, just in case we do need to cash it in for a draw. Just Inquisition me. Okay, opponent plays Seasoned Pyromancer and dumps their hand of 2 lands, so they get no additional tokens. We untap. We draw Dromoka. We are a rainbow land away from casting Dromoka, which might matter. Opponent plays Raging Ravine. Another Lily. There goes Dramoka. That's sad. Okay, we get hit for 2 down to 14. We draw Manamorphose. Man, if we Manamorphose into a land here, I'm going to be kind of mad because, like... oh, we actually, like, could have done it, you know? Just filter into Dramoka mana. Sleight of hand. Looking for a land. Bolt doesn't do it because my opponent has a Liliana on 4. Sleight of hand. Continue looking for a land. There's a land. Play Steam Vents tapped. Now we just need land Niv-Mizzet spell that we can cast off of one land. And we'll be going places. Opponent upticks Lily, discarding Lily. They're going to animate Raging Ravine and hit us for 6. I mean, potentially I could draw Kolagon and kill Lily, and then draw, like, land Atarka, and we would win. Alright, and we don't make it. Sad face. Alright, moving on to round 4. I'll see you guys in round 4. Okay, round 4. I would like to play first. Yeah, this seems pretty good. We'll keep. We just need a Dragonstorm. If we don't get interrupted, we'll have it. Gemstone Caverns. Alright. Exiling Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So my opponent is probably on Bluetron, I imagine. We'll start Sleight of Hand. Take Manamorphose. Okay, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play an Expedition map. And they play an Urza's Mine and a Chromatic Sphere. This might be Greentron. If it is, we technically have a better matchup. Play Mana Confluence, and I'm going to cast Serum Visions here. Alright. Desperate Ritual, Ironcrag Feet. I don't think I need either of those. Cast another Serum Visions. We're looking for a land and Dragonstorm. There's a land. Both of these to the bottom. Technically, I think it needed to be a red land, too. Okay. Opponent untaps. Plays an Urza's Tower, so they will have Tron next turn. They pass, we untap, draw Gemstone Mine. Yeah, think I'm going to have to just go for it. Play Electromancer. Manamorphose into red-blue. Manamorphose into red-blue. Sea Beyond. That's not what I wanted. Shuffle away a Steam Vents. Alright, we fizzled, passed the turn. We dug pretty deep, though. The reason I filtered into 2 blue mana there was basically in case we cast a cantrip into a cantrip sort of situation. So, Karn Great Creator would be our opponent's best play if they have a Trinisphere or they have a Liquid Metal Coating and want to start blowing up our lands. Ugin would be close behind, or Karn Liberated to destroy our cost reducer. That would set us back quite a ways. Karn Great Creator. Trinisphere. Yep. Well, we do technically only need a few mana to beat our opponent. I'm going to play Fiery Islet, and I'm going to cast Sea Beyond. Because, like, we only have to Storm count a couple of times. Maybe we just hardcast Dramoka? Have I played a land yet this turn? Yeah, I played Fiery Islet. I'm going to put back Pyretic Ritual, and we'll attack Karn for 2. We're going to try and win with Dramoka beats. This is why we're running the Rainbow lands. So hit Karn down to 1, so they can't wish again. Opponent cannot dismember here, because they are under their own Trinisphere. Okay, Karn down to 1. They untap. Ugin the Ineffable. Kill Goblin Electromancer. Uptick Karn to 2, no targets. Alright. We untap. Draw Dragonstorm. Play an island. Play Baral. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a Sanctum of Ugin. I guess if they wish for, like, Sundering Titan here, it's over. All is dust. The old 7 mana sack your Baral. They pick up Emrakul the Promised End. Can they cast that next turn? 1, 2, 3 card types in the grave, and they have 9 mana. 8 mana? Oh, and 2 cost reduction from Ugin. Alright, I'm going to hide the fact that we're Dragonstorm. I could play out Dramoka, but my opponent's going to take control of my next turn, which probably would spell the end for us. I've got a feeling we're going to need these Engineered Explosives in this particular matchup. And probably a Braid. I'm going to cut an Ironcrag Feet. Appear through the depths, a sleight of hand, and another sleight of hand. We're going to try it like this. Alright, I would like to play first. This is not a keepable hand for multiple reasons. Alright, well, it's like a combo hand. Wait, whoops. Put back a Dragonstorm. I'm kind of hoping we draw a cost reducer. Play Steam Vents tapped, pass the turn. Alright. Friend's dog showed up. That's actually a friend of Porter. Opponent starts Urza's Power Plant. So, sorry about any barking, but, play a mountain, pass the turn. Well, we're pretty close to comboing off. If we can draw another ritual to where we can Desperate Ritual, splicing Desperate Ritual, we win next turn. Okay, opponent plays Urza's Mine. We draw another Dragonstorm, which is not what we want to see. How much mana am I at here? 5, 8. I am 1 mana away. Opponent untaps. Hopefully they don't just have, like, Tron into Karn Trinisphere. Just, like, ruin our day. Okay. Opponent will have Tron next turn. We just need a land. Pass. So opponent will have Tron next turn. Opponent untaps. Plays an Urza's Tower. Plays a Chromatic Star. Cycling Star for green. They pass. Come on, land. That works too. So, start Pyretic Ritual. Float a red. Cast and splice Desperate Ritual. Desperate Ritual. Ironcrag Feet. Dragonstorm you. And just to make sure my opponent doesn't have removal, we have to get Dramoka first. Oh, apparently I'm playing against nice. Logan Cole Rose. So we'll get Dramoka, then we get Atarka, and then Kolaghan. I guess the order doesn't really matter. It would if it was, I think, Karthus, because Karthus grants haste. I think Karthus grants haste as part of his Enter the Battlefield ability that gains control of all dragons, but I'm not 100% on that one. Okay, fail to find, fail to find. Go to combat. Kill our opponent. I'm surprised you're able to play Magic, Mr. Logan Cole Rose. Thought that Starlink. Way out in the middle of nowhere. Alright, I have to actually reset the client because it's lagging so bad. Alright, I'm back, and I think I've re-sideboarded correctly. I will say the Gemstone Caverns really had me thinking this was Eldrazi Tron, especially with 6 mana Ugin in the deck. It's just like a weird build of it. I think my sideboard would have been the same, but I was surprised to see this was actually Green Tron. Now, if I had recognized the YouTube user's username, if I knew it was him, I would have suspected Green Tron, because I know that guy plays Green Tron specifically. He actually watches for my Green Tron videos. I think originally is what got him here. So it didn't matter because we didn't like have the sideboard tech difference, but it could have. All right, this is a mulligan. I guess I have to keep this, despite the fact that it is probably not that great of a hand. We'll be putting back an island, I think. And we kind of have to hope our opponent does not have a fast Tron hand, which they might. They did mulligan to 6, I think. So Serum Visions. We draw Dragonstorm. Put both of those on top. I want both of those cards. I think we have to run out Baral and just risk him dying. Opponent sacks Sphere for green. They get an Ancient Stirrings. They reveal Power Plant. They play Power Plant. And they play Map. So at least turn 4, possibly turn 3. Play Shivan Reef. Play Baral. Pass the turn. If it is a turn 4 Tron Assembly, hopefully they don't have Dismember or Spatial Contortion for Baral. Okay. So they're going to get Urza's Mine. Also, they definitely have the better the better Tron land set than I do. So we draw Pyretic Ritual. So Manamorphose into red. Play Fiery Islet. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dragonstorm. Perfect. Ritual. Dragonstorm you? Oh, we can get all 4. Nice. Dramoka, Niv, Atarka, Kulagan. Go to combat. Swing for the fences. Alright. And I will see you all in round 5. Alrighty. Round 5. Here we go. I would like to play first. This hand seems alright. Play an island. Start Serum Visions. Draw Mana Confluence. Mountain to the bottom. Electromancer to the top. Pass the turn. We're basically just going to need a Dragonstorm now. Opponent starts Forest into Llanowar Elves. So they're either Elves or like mono-green control. Okay, so we untap and draw Electromancer. I think I'm just going to Sleight of Hand. I will take another Desperate Ritual. Play Shivan Reef. Pass the turn. We have a ridiculous amount of mana, and I'm pretty sure if we just draw Dragonstorm, we win on the spot. Because Electromancer, Pyretic Ritual gets us to 3, which would then allow us to cast and splice Desperate Ritual, then cast Desperate Ritual. So we'd be at 7. Actually, we might be 1 short. Alright, Sleight of Hand. Ironcrag Feet definitely fixes it. Play Fiery Islet. Play Electromancer. Pass the turn. Hopefully my opponent does not have a kill spell of some kind. I don't think Elves generally does. They generally go for the like, just straight-up Elf Ball aggro kind of thing. They reveal Dwynen's Elite. They play Heritage Druid, so they can cast a lot of Elves this turn. They play Dwynen's Elite. Get an Elf. Collected Company. Realm Walker and Izuri, so we're going to be dead in a hurry if we don't Dragonstorm them. Another Dwynen's Elite, sure. Hello, friends. 2 dogs. Visiting Dog and Porter. We draw an island. I'm gonna cycle Fiery Islet here. We get a Brawl. I think we're still dead. Pass the turn. Because, like, my opponent can just tap 3 lands and like, potentially just, like, 4 lands and a Mana Dork overrun, and then we're dead. I think we're still dead to an overrun. Even if they have to use Heritage Druid for the mana. Alright. Block here. Block here. We go to 6. We just need Dragonstorm or a way to find it. Never mind, we're dead. Dead to Shaman Fireball. We're drawing a Desperate Ritual into a Dragonstorm. 2 cards away. Sad day. We are bringing in the Lightning Bolt, Engineered Explosives, and probably the other Nivs here. I'm going to go down a Dragonstorm and Ironcrag Feet. Pier. Practically, like, a lot of our cantrips, if not all of them. 1 Sea Beyond. And 1 Brawl. Try it like this. We're going to try and be a lot more interactive this game. I would like to play first. Alright, I will keep this hand. We will start Sleight of Hand. Get a cost reducer. Pass the turn. Opponent starts a Blooming Marsh. Into a Llanowar Elves. We untap. Draw Brawl. Play Shivan Reef. Bolt the Elf. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Heritage Druid. We draw another cost reducer, play Brawl, play Gemstone Mine, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Gilt-Leaf Palace, probably revealing Dwynen's Elite. Yep, so they play Dwynen's Elite, and they get to Ritual up to 3 mana, basically. And they play Archdruid. That's a lot of mana. We draw a Mana Confluence. So play Mana Confluence, play Electromancer, play Electromancer. And now we just need to draw, like, an Ironcrag Feet and we can win. Which is sad because I removed most of those from the deck. So this actually only costs 6 mana right now. Any Ritual gets us there. Provided, of course, we aren't just dead to, like, Collected Company, tap Archdruid, Collected Company into, like, 3 Shaman of the Packs. But it floats mana, plays Elvish Warmaster, plays Heritage Druid, gets a token, got all of that mana they just used right back, taps Archdruid for 7, another Warmaster, a Clan Caller, getting a token, into a Shaman of the Pack. Alright, we have 2 draws to hit a Ritual. If we do, we win. There's a Ritual. So, cast Manamorphose, add red, red, Desperate Ritual, Island, Dragonstorm you? 3 spells cast. So we get Dramoka, Atarka, and Kolagon. Go to combat, hit him for 1,000,000. Nice. Alright, moving on to game 3. I could bring in a Braid if I wanted more removal, but I honestly think that Engineered Explosives is probably going to be enough. I mean, probably not playing 3 Niv and instead playing the 4th Dragonstorm, like playing 2 Niv and 4 Dragonstorm was probably correct. It was actually something I was going to swap up, but I realized only last second that I clicked submit way too early. I'm going to keep this hand. It should hopefully get us there. We can shuffle Kolagon back in using Sea Beyond. Put a Plays of Forest into a Llanowar Elf. Bolt would be a good top deck. There's Niv Mizzet. Start Steam Vents tapped, pass the turn. Like, Cost Reducer gets us up to Niv Mizzet, which is pretty sweet. Opponent plays a Nettle Sentinel into a Heritage Druid. We untap, draw Scalding Tarn, play Shivan Reef, Sea Beyond, draw 2 cards, put back Kolagon, pass the turn. This might be the Niv Mizzet Stormoff special. We'll see. I would be okay with that. Even if it wasn't an outright win, it would be pretty awesome. I think we need another ritual to do it correctly, though, is the thing. Opponent plays Elvish Archdruid and an Elves of Deep Shadow. They still have 3 mana. They only have 2 cards in hand. They're probably casting either another Archdruid or an Azuri, or it's another Archdruid, which was actually the worst option for us. We needed a non-lord just in case we needed to ping down like the druids and stuff. Okay, we take 4, go to 16, untap. We draw Shivan Reef. So we play Brawl, Ritual to 3, Manamorphose, add like blue-blue. So we have red-red, blue-blue, Manamorphose, add red-blue, Manamorphose, add red-red. But then I think, I mean, we do it, right? There's no real question here. So Brawl, Pyretic Ritual, add red-blue, Manamorphose, add red-blue. Oh, dang. Okay, Manamorphose, add red-blue. Okay. Pyretic Ritual, play Niv Mizzet, Desperate Ritual, draw card, ping Elvish Archdruid, Desperate Ritual, draw card. That was what I was afraid of. We were going to run out of stuff to cast. If we had drawn that Desperate Ritual before we cast our second Manamorphose, we could have actually gotten like 3 more pings and an additional draw. It would have mattered a lot. But unfortunately, that's all we got. So, pass the turn. We just have to pray we're not dead. We're almost certainly dead. My opponent has like 9 million green mana. If they're holding 2 lands, we're not. But that's just about the only way. Like, even if they have War Master here. Okay, they have Clan Caller. They go to combat and attack. Oh, we're gonna try and block like this, simply because they attacked all out. Alright, we untap, we get 2 draws. Lightning Bolt helps a lot. So ping Clan Caller. Bolt Archdruid. Draw, ping Heritage Druid. Okay, go to main. Play Fiery Islet. Take a damage, go to 2. Pyretic Ritual. Draw. Ping opponent. Play Engineered Explosives on 1. Blow up all 1-drops. Go to combat, hit him for 5. Oh man. Whew, Niv Mizzet is overpowered. Opponent plays a Llanowar Elves. We untap. Draw a card. Ping Llanowar Elves. Cast Serum Visions. Oh man. The poor Elves player, he probably thought he was going somewhere. Well, at least we 2 and 3'd, which is pretty close to what we've been doing with Dragonstorm. The way that this league started off really had me worried. There's definitely improvements to be made here. We got a little experimental this time, and I think that's fine. It's worth figuring out what's good and what's not. Before anybody just says, oh, this deck is bad, it's really not. like the last couple of times we played it, we nearly 4-1'd. This time we probably could have 3-2'd if we'd gotten slightly better matchup versus Burn, which raises an idea for me. We're playing Storm, right? So if we're splashing like 5 extra colors for casting our gigantic Dragon Lords and stuff, why don't we just play Weather the Storm to beat Burn? I didn't think of that, but I think it would work. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of Engineered Explosives entirely. I'm going to drop down to like 2 Lightning Bolts. I don't really want Echoing Truth at all. And then my sideboard, I really want it to be 4 Ley Lines of Sanctity and then 2 Weather the Storm. Because like now, even if we have a short Storm off versus Burn, it should buy us enough time to like maybe reload. I think 4 Dragonstorm is correct. We drew a couple of extras and it didn't feel great, but it still felt better than not drawing a Dragonstorm at all. We got a little unlucky. We ran into a lot of hand disruption decks in multiple Jund decks, which we didn't run into the last couple of leagues. I think Leyline of Sanctity will really help in that situation. We have to be careful about mulliganing, though. This deck is in a very delicate balance. If you mulligan in a deck like this where you need to assemble a critical mass of cards, such as Rituals, if you mulligan too low, there's a chance you just never recover. You just never get to the total number of cards in hand that you need. And because this deck doesn't have any Gifts Ungiven style ways to recoup card advantage, like we only cantrip. We're not even like Pyromancer's Ascension cloning cantrips. We have to be really, really careful about how we mulligan. But we've been very careful in the past, just using Defense Grid as an example. Although having to mulligan for Leyline really does suck. It's one of those things where we can cast Leyline technically after the fact, but it's only good in our opener, really. So just things to consider if you play this deck. This deck is really janky, and it is a lot of fun to play. And like I said, it does have certain competitive advantages over playing regular Blue-Red Storm. Your opponent will play differently against you. They think you're regular Blue-Red Storm because you share a ton of cards with them. They'll bring in Grave Hate against you. They'll, there's some overlap because, like, there's Storm Hate and stuff, but, like, they'll play incorrectly against the hands that you have, and try and react incorrectly. And so, if this deck becomes meta, and it becomes the regular version of Blue-Red Storm, then it's not as good. So as long as both Storm decks can exist in the metagame, you're going to jank some people out by playing this. So you're going to get a couple of extra win percentage points there. Where you're going to lose percentage points is based on the number of regular Storm decks. Like if your opponent starts running Amulet of Safekeeping or, Damping Sphere and other spells like that. And I mean, we don't use the Grave. I don't intend to use the Grave with this deck. It might be worth considering, and I'm just kind of spitballing here, it might be worth considering some kind of big draw spell. If there's a scalable draw spell, or maybe we play something like, I don't really know. I'll think about that one some more before just running my mouth. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you were so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier. And hopefully we get a chance to play Esper Control soon. I need more time to record a Control League than I do for regular decks that I play, because like Tron's pretty straightforward. The games are usually kind of short. Storm, the games are short. Burn, the game is short. Like Dredge, the game is short. Like it's one of those things where you actually have to like sit there and do a bunch of lines in your head before you actually continue playing the game when you're playing Control. Also, in terms of recording a Control deck, generally what has to happen is I have to get up and I have to take a break in between matches to play at my optimum, because it's not my preferred play style. I don't have the lines memorized, so it requires a lot more like brain activity up front, because I can't offload it onto like, oh, I've seen this before, I need to react this way. I have to think about every single play that I make, and it requires a lot more active thinking. So we will be doing that next, probably for a tryharding. It might have to wait a little bit if I just find I don't have a lot of days with extra time to record, but it is on the queue. I'm working on a programmatic solution to the deck queue so that nobody gets forgotten. If you're interested in that, you should join my Discord. Link is in the description below. I'm going to be implementing a bot that will tally and allow people to democratically vote for certain decks, and that way we either have like a viewer's choice day, or they influence which decks I'm playing in these series, or yeah, I haven't totally decided how that's going to work yet, but I am starting to work on the Discord bot. So hopefully, I know there's been a few people that have been requesting certain things. If your idea is popular, if you're not the only person suggesting it, and I've been forgetting it, your best bet to get me to play that deck is to join the Discord and then use this bot when it's ready. It is not ready as of the time of this video, but hopefully I get a little bit of opportunity to work on it this weekend. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I want you to know that you're all wonderful human beings, and thanks for watching. Bye!